It goes without saying that a lot has changed in the world during our time at the Yale School of Medicine. The global pandemic, the rise of doctor influencers on social media, the inescapability of Zoom meetings that could have been an email. The list goes on. Even with all this change, the Yale School of Medicine has remained steadfast for the last 200 years in two aspects. First, its mission to produce the next generation of leaders in medicine. Very fancy. And the second is its commitment to making as much of the curriculum ungraded as possible, for which we medical students are very thankful. To illustrate this second point, take this invocation speech, for example. While at other institutions, this speech might be given by the valedictorian, the student with the top grades, Yale School of Medicine doesn't have a number one student because we don't have grades. Now, I know what you all must be thinking. Clearly, these guys got the job for their charisma, popularity, and of course, their beauty. Shockingly to some, but unshockingly to most, that wasn't the case for us either. Instead, our classmates voted for us based on anonymous pitches, something that is emblematic of how democratic and uncompetitive the culture of Yale School of Medicine truly is. Now, regarding the first, very fancy point, Yale is a place that prides itself on fostering leadership in many different forms. A testament to this is our tradition of impressive graduation speakers, such as Dr. Vivek Murthy, Yale School of Medicine alum and U.S. Surgeon General, or last year's speaker, Dr. Glockenflecken, a physician whose funny little videos on TikTok have shed light on a number of important issues in medicine.
This year, we could not be more honored to have as our guest speaker, Dr. Anthony Fauci. So Dr. Fauci is the former chief medical advisor to the president and arguably the most well-known doctor in the world right now. The only doctors I can think of that might be more famous are Dr. Phil or Dr. Pepper, but it turns out neither of them have a medical license and Dr. Phil was busy, but we're still super, super excited to have Dr. Fauci here with us today. Like the two of us, Dr. Fauci had a wide open schedule for graduation speeches. But I have to imagine that being the former chief advisor to the president and being a fourth-year medical student are pretty similar. You spend 40% of your time doing Zoom meetings and the other 60% trying to figure out how to answer when people ask, so what are you up to these days? I'm really looking forward to graduating because I still don't have a good answer to that question.
For all our excitement about finishing, so much of our final year of medical school has been spent grappling with expectations about who we should become. A place like Yale expects us to be the next generation of healthcare leaders. Our colleagues expect us to be reliable medical experts. Our families expect us to be the guiding voice for medical questions and decisions. And we have our own expectations of ourselves. It can be tempting to compare our own accomplishments and futures to the giants in medicine who came before us. But today is an important time to remind ourselves that whoever we become, we will be enough. We are already enough. Being someone's attentive and compassionate doctor is enough, and we are more than our professional identities. We have been lucky to have the time and space here to cultivate and nurture who we are outside the medical profession. That, too, is more than enough and is something we must hold on to and cherish as we embark on what's to come.
In spite of the larger-than-life image of Dr. Fauci in the public eye, he, like us, was once a brand-new, bright-eyed medical school graduate. And regardless of everything that's changed since then, he likely experienced some of the key moments in medical school that all of us as medical students have experienced. The deep breath you took the first time before you knocked and entered a patient's room, the first time you really heard someone's heartbeat because you used a stethoscope correctly for the first time, the first time you figured out a challenging diagnosis, the first time you felt like you really made a difference in a patient's life, and the first time a patient you cared for passed away. They're very different moments, moments of joy and anxiety and sorrow, but in my opinion, they're all moments that really define our medical training. They're the moments where you feel your strongest and your weakest. They're moments of humanity. And we can't predict where our careers will take us. I can't imagine Dr. Fauci imagined on his graduation day the career that was ahead of him. But wherever our lives take us and whatever kinds of leaders we become, we will wield some power. That's part of the job. And so I hope that as we move forward to influence and impact the lives of those around us, we will hold on to those moments and remember how we felt and what it meant to feel so weak and so strong in those moments. As we proceed with today's ceremony and look toward the future, let us remember how naive we were when we first came into these halls and how naive we remain, so that we can see the wisdom of those around us.
Let us carry with us each time we start over on a new unit or in a new city, where we came from and those who helped us along the way. Every parent and caregiver, teacher and mentor, friend and listening ear.
Let us be unbreakable, not because we are so hardened, but because we are pliant and resilient, a tree with roots planted deep and branches that bend but do not break.
And let us try still until the final hour, even when we have reached the limits of our medical expertise, to be a source of comfort to those who are suffering. With that, we offer our deepest gratitude to our friends, families, and teachers, and to our fellow graduates. We did this together. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2023.
Isaiah and Akil, well said, thank you. Let me now introduce the distinguished faculty joining us together today. Please stand as I call your name. I ask the audience to hold your applause until everyone has been introduced, although I suspect that's unlikely. First, Dr. Jessica Aluzzi, Deputy Dean for Education, who's responsible for all of our educational programs. And in this capacity, Jessica ensures that our students receive the best education anywhere. Dr. John Francis, Associate Dean for Student Affairs, who counsels and guides our students through their medical education. Dr. Michael Schwartz, Associate Dean for Curriculum, who assures that the curriculum is relevant and addresses the issues that you, our students, will face in your quest to become outstanding physicians. Our academic advisors, Patrick O'Connor, Michael O'Brien, Karen Jubanic, Jeanette Tatro, and Susan Kashoff, have helped you, our students, steer your academic and career pathways through medical school and into residencies and future careers. Dr. Erica Herzog and Sarvat Chaudhry are Associate Deans for the Office of Student Research, responsible for helping you assess research opportunities culminating in the completion of your thesis, one of the special and unique aspects of our medical education. Dr. Barbara Kazmierzak, who directs our MD PhD program. This program provides formal training in medicine and research and is one of the longest standing and one of the outstanding programs in the country, training physician scientists. Dr. Laura Ment, Associate Dean for Admissions and Financial Aid, who oversees our admissions office and is responsible for gathering together the remarkable students who compose this class. Dr. Marietta Vesquez, Associate Dean for Student Diversity, who oversees strategic deployment of resources and coordinates activities in the areas of recruitment, retention, and professional development of students who are underrepresented in medicine. And lastly, Dr. Anthony Fauci, our commencement speaker, former director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, and I will say more about Dr. Fauci shortly. Please join me now in acknowledging, very well behaved by the way, in acknowledging these individuals who have made major contributions, frequently behind the scenes, to the excellence of Yale and to the education of our graduates. And now I have the opportunity to extend my welcome a little bit more formally and to share a few reflections. To our students, today you enter a sacred profession, as you note in the oath that you will soon recite. You enter this profession after having been perhaps the class most affected by the COVID pandemic and have emerged as resilient leaders. You enter this profession at a time when, ironically, despite the rapid implementation of life-saving therapies and the development of vaccines, trust in medical science may be declining. According to a Pew Research Center poll taken in February 2022, only 29% of US adults said that they have, quote, a great deal of confidence in medical scientists to act in the best interest of the public, end quote. The increasing rapidity with which research findings became public during the pandemic often meant that people were left to synthesize conflicting information. And the public dialogues about scientific findings too often became politicized or deteriorated into an exercise in defending one's own particular position. In medicine, what we refer to as medical jousting, rather than in carefully and collaboratively considering the alternatives. And yet, your graduation and the oath that you have written gives those of us who are here today a great deal of hope. You will make discoveries that change our understanding of disease and lead to new treatments. You will determine how we use AI and genetic interventions. You will eliminate health disparities and make health care more affordable and accessible to those in this country. As students of the Yale system, you have learned curiosity, and with it, we hope, humility. You note in your oath that you must strive to earn the trust of my patients and listen first and counsel second. You recognize that you must learn when you err. And you will err, we all do. Anyone in this space who has practiced medicine has, and so do deans, as did this dean as a rookie dean in the early days of this pandemic. But let me remind you that you are never alone on this journey. Do lean on your colleagues, on your mentors, your family and friends who are here with you today when you make mistakes or when you lose sight of the fundamental values to which you commit today. We are here. We will listen and help you to regain your confidence and trust, just as you have given us hope and confidence. Pause a moment to reflect and commit to those values before we introduce the winners of our teaching awards. I will now present the teaching awards for 2023. Teaching and those who excel at it are highly valued at Yale and are the cornerstones of the foundation on which the school has been built. The first award, the Charles W. Baumfock Prize, is for teaching. One prize is given to a faculty member teaching in the basic sciences and one to a faculty member teaching in the clinical sciences. Medical students and faculty members are asked to nominate deserving teachers. A committee consisting of faculty and students reviewed the responses and made the final selection. In the basic sciences, this year the award goes to Sabrina Nunez, Department of Genetics. One student noted, Dr. Nunez is described as one of the most inspirational, generous, and kind professors, quite possibly the best professor I have ever had. Sabrina is unable to be here today, so Meenakshi Elreha will accept the award on her behalf. Meenakshi, please come up. This year, the Baumfock Award in the Clinical Sciences will go to Shefali Pathi, Department of Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Reproductive Sciences. One nominator noted, Dr. Pathi leads by example in her clinical work and is praised by all learners as a caring and dedicated physician, educator, and mentor. Despite the busy nature of the Women's Center, she always takes the time to teach and give feedback in the moment to all learners. Shefali, please come. The Leonard Toe Humanism in Medicine Award, presented by the Arnold P. Gold Foundation, recognizes and honors a faculty member who has demonstrated particular compassion and sensitivity in the delivery of care to patients. This year, the award goes to Sharon Sheikhajan, Department of Emergency Medicine. One nominator wrote, Dr. Sheikhajan has an unrelenting commitment to humanism in a chaotic emergency department. Her commitment to patient-centered care has made her engagement in the work unwavering and a true North Star for the Department of Emergency Medicine. Sharon is not able to be here, but her chair, Arjun Venkatesh, is here to accept the award on her behalf. And I note there's an envelope attached. Yeah. The Leah Lowenstein Award is presented annually at graduation to the Yale School of Medicine faculty member who is the model of a medical educator whose humane teaching reaches and influences all students, regardless of gender, race, or socioeconomic background. These are the traits that were espoused in the late Leah Lowenstein, a medical educator and first female dean of a coeducational medical school. This year, the award goes to Sylvia Villareno of the Department of Internal Medicine and Pathology. One student wrote, Dr. Villareno's commitment to her students and a mentor is unmatched. She is active in all levels of student education and training and still makes time for teaching rounds. She will always make time to review presentations, data, and uphold students to the highest standard for rigor and reproducibility. Sylvia, please come forward. The Alvin R. Feinstein Award is awarded annually to a School of Medicine faculty member chosen by the chairs and faculty of the clinical departments and members of the graduating class as the outstanding teacher of clinical skills. I am pleased to announce that the winner of the 2023 Alvin Feinstein Award is Jean Bologna, Department of Dermatology. One student noted, I believe that every dermatologist who has trained in the past 2 decades owes Dr. Bologna a debt of gratitude for taking an exceedingly complicated subject and presenting it in an engaging and digestible manner. I am so lucky to have trained under her, and I can think of no one more deserving of this award. Thank you. I would now like to invite to the podium Ryan Fan and Jack Tang, the class co-presidents, who will present awards voted upon by the graduating class.
As co-class presidents, Ryan and I have been honored to represent the graduating class of 2023. We are so proud to be part of this class and would like to thank you all for this privilege. We would also like to thank everybody here at Yale who helped support our education to life and express our immense gratitude to the school's administration, who ensured that we would all be standing up here today.
So on behalf of the class, we would like to present the following awards to 3 individuals who have contributed greatly to our medical training. The Francis Gilman Blake Award is presented annually to a member of the faculty of the School of Medicine, designated by the graduating class as the most outstanding teacher of the medical sciences. This award has been given out here at Yale since 1952, with the first winner being Dr. Klatskin, the namesake of Yale New Haven Hospital's liver service. This year's award goes to a faculty member who has been an exceptional mentor in both the professional and personal spheres. He goes above and beyond to help students achieve their own goals and puts incredible time and energy into each one of his mentees. We are honored to present this year's Francis Gilman Blake Award as nominated by the class of 2023 to Dr. Michael Capello.
The Betsy Winters House Staff Award is presented annually to 2 members of the Yale New Haven Health Center house staff who as excellent educators and role models have made the most significant contributions to medical student education. The first award goes to a resident in the Department of Urology. He has been involved with medical students at every stage of training, from being part of the preclinical interest group sessions to leading a boot camp for graduating students. As his nominator wrote, he interacted with the patients both in and out of the OR like they were his own family. We are honored to present the first of this year's awards, as nominated by the class of 2023, to Dr. Justin Nguyen.
The second award goes to a resident in the Department of Internal Medicine. He is highlighted for the careful ways he uplifts medical students on his wards through education, support, and enthusiasm. As his nominator wrote, "While I have been interested in oncology up until this point, it is hard not to want to do cardiology." When you listen to the energy with which Dr. Wang talks about current cardiology research, trials, and EKG pearls. We are honored to present the second of this year's Betsy Winters House Staff Award, as nominated by the class of 2023, to Dr. Stephen Wang.
As part of the yearly tradition, we are fundraising for the class gift. The gift is a yearly tradition at this medical school, which will go to initiatives such as financial aid, the medical library, student research, or diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. And as part of the tradition, we are aiming for everybody to participate. There will be more information to come. Lastly, as a class, we would like to thank all of our respective families, friends, and loved ones. Words truly cannot express our gratitude for everything that you've done. Thank you.
And we would like now to introduce our class performance by Amrita Singh and Zui Fan.
Thank you so much. Each year, our graduating class selects a speaker who has most inspired them. And this year, we are honored that Dr. Anthony Fauci accepted their invitation. An immunologist, Dr. Fauci's, from his very early career, made fundamental discoveries that have advanced the use of immunosuppressive agents in the treatment of autoimmune diseases such as polyarteritis nodosa, granulomatosis with polyangiitis, and lymphoid granulomatosis. Dr. Fauci served as the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, NIAID, from 1984 to 2022. And in this role, he oversaw an extensive research portfolio devoted to preventing, diagnosing, and treating infectious and immune-mediated diseases. He has served as an advisor to numerous presidents, one of the key advisors to the White House and Department of Health and Human Services on global AIDS issues, and initiatives to bolster medical and public health preparedness against emerging infections, including, most recently, of course, COVID-19. Dr. Fauci was a key architect of President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, we now know as PEPFAR, an HIV and AIDS program responsible for saving over 20 million lives in the developing world, and for which he received the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2008. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Dr. Fauci served as one of the lead members of President Trump's White House Corona Task Force, as well as President Biden's White House COVID-19 response team, and as chief medical advisor to President Biden. Dr. Fauci is a member of the U.S. National Academy of Sciences and the recipient of numerous prestigious awards for his scientific and global health accomplishments, including the National Medal of Science, the Mary Woodward Lasker Award for Public Service. Dr. Fauci has been awarded, this was when we wrote it, I'm sure it's close to 60 now, 58 honorary doctoral degrees, and is the author, co-author, or editor of more than 1,400 scientific publications. This is not the first occasion on which Dr. Fauci has spoken at Yale, and I will highlight one in particular. In 1990, Dr. Fauci gave the Lee E. Farr lecture at our Student Research Day. So Dr. Fauci, together with the class of 2023, I welcome you today as our keynote speaker.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dean Brown, for that very kind introduction. Family members and administrators, distinguished guests, family, friends of the students, and of course you, the 2023 graduates of the Yale School of Medicine. I am sincere in saying it's truly an honor and a privilege to speak to the newest graduation of one of America's oldest and clearly most distinguished schools of medicine. Over the years, I've been privileged to deliver a fair number of commencement addresses. Now, while the broad context of my medical school experience and yours have many common threads, which I believe Isaiah and Akil alluded to in their invocation, the differences have been stark. You persevered in your training despite the profound disruptions caused by the historic COVID pandemic. Consciously or subconsciously, each of you will wear the badge of this public health crisis that intruded upon your formal education, as well as on your personal lives. I have enormous respect for your dedication that allowed you to successfully complete your medical school training under these trying circumstances. On the one hand, you suffered disruption, upheaval, and intrusion on your educational experience caused by the pandemic. On the other hand, you have afforded a unique training opportunity with a frontline view of the historic public health crisis to face a new, highly transmissible, and pathogenic virus for which we initially had no specific circumstances, and to enter the battle against it armed with one's courage, compassion, and acumen is an extraordinary experience. In this regard, I am reminded of my own experiences in the early days of HIV/AIDS. I recall vividly and painfully my experience as a young infectious disease physician in the early 1980s when I watched with alarm the emergence of this new disease. I cared for hundreds and hundreds of patients, almost all of whom died from a new syndrome that at first did not even have a name and whose etiology would not be known for 3 years. There are unmistakable parallels between the early days of AIDS and the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Undoubtedly, the adaptability, resilience, and courage seen in Yale's response to COVID, which many of you were a part of, will serve you well in your future as medical professionals. It is an experience you never will or should forget. As you know, the WHO and the US government recently have declared the end of the emergency phase of the COVID pandemic. Let me be clear, the pandemic has not disappeared. The SARS-CoV-2 virus still kills about 150 people every day in the United States. And the large number of people suffering from long COVID reminds us that we are not yet done with this disease. However, now that we have entered the post-emergency stage of COVID, analysis, understandably, of lessons learned have inevitably begun. I'm speaking not only of lessons that can help us prepare for the next public health challenge, but also lessons that will apply to your future professional and personal experience that may be far removed from pandemic outbreaks. And so today I would like to very briefly discuss a few of these lessons. First, expect the unexpected. I had been at the NIH for more than 50 years when a dramatic twist to the closing years of my career began in January of 2020. My worst nightmare had come true. A truly novel and highly transmissible respiratory virus causing significant morbidity and mortality had emerged. As SARS-CoV-2 spread throughout America and around the globe, we tried to anticipate its behavior based, understandably, on our knowledge of similar viruses. But there would be more surprises than familiarities. Most importantly, we learned that unlike most other respiratory viruses, SARS-CoV-2 is usually transmitted by people who are unaware that they are infected. As the pandemic months stretched into agonizing years, we also learned that the virus rapidly and repeatedly acquired mutations, enabling it to outwit our immune defenses and our vaccine-induced protections. As viral mutations accumulated and more transmissible variants successively arose, we braced for new waves of infection, hospitalization, and tragically deaths. Each new revelation about the virus and COVID not only humbled us, but also reminded us that when facing novel challenges in the practice of medicine or in life's broader experiences, any predictions we might make about a situation and how it will evolve must always be provisional. Accepting that reality requires open-mindedness and flexibility in assessing a situation and readjusting as new information becomes available. Now, many major events of my own life or directions I have taken were also wholly unanticipated or unplanned. So as you leave the familiar environment of the Yale School of Medicine to begin the next phase of your life, please keep in mind that your career path may not be linear. Mine certainly has not been. And I spoke to a few students about that last night. And here's the answer to your question, guys and ladies. If I had stuck to my original plans more than 50 years ago, when I was sitting where you are right now, graduating from medical school, I would have spent decades in the private practice of medicine out of the New York Presbyterian Hospital and Weill Cornell Medicine on York Avenue and 69th Street in Manhattan, and you certainly would have had a different commencement speaker. Embracing unexpected opportunities, if you are mindful of both their potential risks and rewards, can be exciting and add great depth to your life experience. And so remember, expect the unexpected and be open to it when it comes. Next lesson, be guided by science and be wary of the insidious nature of anti-science. During the past few years, you have been immersed in scientific courses and schooled in the scientific method of inquiry. As a result, you know well that solid data and evidence to support new insights drive progress in scientific and medical research leading to tangible health benefits. Our COVID vaccine experience provided a perfect case study. Just 11 months after the SARS-CoV-2 genome sequence became available, in January of 2020, the first FDA-approved vaccine went into the arms of individuals. This breathtaking scientific and logistic accomplishment ultimately led to millions of lives saved throughout the world. Now, while the scientific community was buoyed by the spectacular success of COVID vaccine development, implementing vaccinations to quell the pandemic encountered stiff headwinds. Significant anti-science forces in our society, accelerated during the pandemic, became bolder, louder, and more entrenched. Because these forces subsist on denigrating scientific evidence and data, they worry me greatly. Scientific findings backed by solid evidence are routinely mischaracterized, distorted, and even vilified, and conspiracy theories reinforce unfounded narratives about the safety and effectiveness of proven countermeasures. What's more, anti-science proponents routinely launch unfair and unfounded attacks on the characters of individual scientists throughout the country in attempts to demean their scientific credibility and enable individuals with little to no scientific expertise or experience to claim their place as so-called experts, often with a profit motive. Because misinformation and disinformation about COVID was widespread on social media and other platforms and often crowded out credible public health messages, public confusion as the pandemic dragged on was entirely understandable. Sadly, the calamitous net effect of this confusion was an erosion of trust in public health officials and in evidence-based public health guidance and principles. The public health community fought to overcome rampant misinformation. For example, about hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin being effective treatments for COVID, or myths about the dangers of COVID vaccines. Nonetheless, it is no exaggeration that the spread of misinformation and the promotion of disinformation and conspiracy theories caused thousands of people to doubt the safety and effectiveness of proven COVID vaccines and treatments, and to avoid them, thereby suffering preventable illnesses and deaths. Tragically, the disparagement of scientific data and evidence continues worldwide and now threatens other public health activities, including vitally important routine childhood immunizations. The path from disparaging science-based medicine to demeaning other foundations of our social order, unfortunately, is a slippery slope. For those of you newly emerging into the medical profession, please beware and fight back. Next lesson, push back on the normalization of untruths. It is becoming clear that anti-science sentiments are part of a pervasive and more troublesome problem in our society. The tacit acceptance and normalization of untruths. I'm profoundly disheartened that many people have become indifferent to the proliferation of false claims and egregious lies that are propagated through certain news outlets and widely disseminated through social media. An untruth can easily enter the wide sea of global information, and if unchallenged, attract uncritical believers and adherents until it becomes a dangerous undercurrent alongside the truth. We must resolutely push back on the normalization of untruths wherever we see it, not only in science, but in other arenas, such as education, business, and the law. Complacency will only further imperil the foundations of our democracy. We need look no further than January 6, 2021, for validation of this grave concern. And so as you leave this outstanding institution, know that you and your generation are our best hope to counter the danger to America inherent in the proliferation of anti-science rhetoric and larger untruths. I implore you, please push back. Do so not with hostility, but with civility, but also with the wisdom and strength that you can muster. Stand by your noble Yale motto, Lux et Veritas. We are counting on you. I would like to leave you with a final thought about our chosen profession. In the preface to Harrison's Principles of Internal Medicine, a textbook that I have had the privilege of co-editing for the past 40 years, we have included a quote in the preface from Dr. Francis Peabody, a celebrated physician, researcher, and teacher at Harvard Medical School. He wrote the following nearly 1 century ago, and I quote, "One of the essential qualities of the clinician is interest in humanity, for the secret of the care of the patient is in caring for the patient." His observation is as valid today as it was then. Breathtaking advances in medical technology continually improve and sometimes transform the practice of medicine. However, as sophisticated and precise as these technological advances are, they cannot and do not care for your patient. During your patient encounters, what matters most is your compassion and your humanity, what we call the art of the practice of medicine. I have never tried to forget this, and I do not ever forget it. I urge you to do the same thing. Now, I have been speaking to you about some weighty issues. In closing, please remember, life also holds the potential for much joy. It is important to cultivate personal sources of joy as much as you do your professional accomplishments. Many of you will be ascending your professional ladders relatively soon and becoming increasingly busy as you do. Yet your professional life need not be at odds with having a deep well of personal relationships and interests that you value and nurture. Engage with these sources of well-being often and delight in the joy, fulfillment, and containment that they will bring you. Congratulations to you, to your family and loved ones. Good luck, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fauci. We now come to that portion of our program that you, our students, parents, family members, and friends have been waiting for, perhaps, the conferring of degrees. The names will be read by our school's registrar, Ms. Terry Tolson.
You guys want to start standing up? Well, good afternoon. We are going to start today out of order to accommodate Dr. Laditi getting to the School of Management on time to receive his joint MBA degree. Dr. Folawio Laditi. We will now resume in our normal order. Dr. Maham Ahmed. Dr. Michael Amick. Dr. Emily Avery. Dr. Douglas Barber. Dr. Mursal Gardizi. Dr. Brian Graham Beitler. Dr. Annika Belzer. Dr. Gabriel Betancourt Velez. Dr. Moriana Budge. Dr. Dennis Caruana. Dr. Shinmei Chan. Dr. Jiangsu Chang. Dr. H. Alexander Chen McLean. Dr. David Chung. Dr. Lake Racer Crawford. Dr. Wyatt David. Dr. Chloe Connolly Dalot. Dr. Natnael Dolicho. Dr. Ali El Rayshuni. Dr. Ryan Fan. Dr. Michael Jesse Flores. Dr. Callie Marie Gnap. Dr. Emily Meeson Goodbranson. Dr. Simone Hasselmo. Dr. Olivia Dixon Harrington. Dr. Catherine Hill. Dr. Julian Huang. Dr. Marissa Justin. Dr. Ariana Kaler Quesada. Dr. Jahanzeb Kayani. Dr. Christopher Ryan Keys. Dr. Waleed Khan. Dr. David Kim. Dr. Srija Kodali. Dr. Govind Krishna Kumar Nair. Dr. Stephen Lee. Dr. Yu Kyung Lee. Dr. Elizabeth Lee. Dr. Hieronymus Loho. Dr. Aaron Long. Dr. J. Thomas Moran. Dr. Montana Tremaine Morris. Dr. Muz Mohammed. Dr. David Kai Nam. Dr. Aishwarya Nene. Dr. Harry Newman Plotnick. Dr. Autumn Nobles. Dr. Faith Okifo. Dr. Aishwarya Kanandipur Ambil Pillai. Dr. Kunal Kaveen Patnis. Dr. Anna Grace Preston. Dr. Hanya Miriam Qureshi. Dr. Kelsey Rankin. Dr. Namita Ravi. Dr. Kayuri Satam. Dr. Christopher Shank. Dr. Himali Parimo Shah. Dr. Amar Sheth. Dr. May Shum. Dr. Jason Silva Rudberg. Dr. Amrita Singh. Dr. Caitlin Singh. Dr. Lauren Stone. Dr. Zayu Tang. Dr. Abriana Taysillo. You're welcome. Dr. Isaiah Thomas. Dr. Akil Upneja. Dr. Lena Vadlamani. Dr. Marcus Valcarce Espergrin. Dr. Thunvi Varma. Dr. Juliana Vera. Dr. Rebecca Vergara Grino. Dr. Brian Way. Dr. Gabe Weininger. Dr. Julia Catherine Wolf. Dr. Suzanne Shu. Dr. Lu Ying Yan. Dr. Beverly Yu. Dr. Anna Zhao. Our next graduate is being announced out of order. To allow her husband to see his wife receive her diploma on stage after receiving his own at the Yale School of Management. Dr. Sophia DeBiche. The following graduates are receiving both the MD and PhD degrees. These graduates earned their Doctor of Philosophy at the Yale Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. Presenting their diplomas is the director of the MD PhD program. Dr. Matthew Al-Saloom. Dr. Daniel Barson and Dr. Abby Green. Dr. Barson and Dr. Green are accompanied by their son. Dr. Jessica Sardegna. Dr. Sardegna is accompanied by her children. Dr. Jennifer Chen. Dr. Ryan Chow. Dr. Stefano Giovanni Daniele. Stefano. Dr. Matthew Dong. Dr. Nicholas George Economos. Dr. Margaret Erlinsdottir. Dr. Albors Faizi. Dr. Kenneth Suranga Ganasekara. Dr. William Hancock Cerruti. Dr. Woong Huang. Dr. Daniel Kim. Dr. Catherine Louise Leiby. Dr. Jonathan Leong. Dr. Leong received his PhD from the University of Cambridge. Dr. Raman Venkat Nelakanti. Dr. Jonathan Park. Dr. Zui Fan. Dr. Tyler Shelby. We would also like to recognize the graduates who could not be present. Dr. Alyssa Rachel Burson. Dr. Shaman Bullar. Dr. Ali Cow. Dr. Rahula Dodapkar. And Dr. James Garitano. Okay, at this time, we would like to acknowledge our other joint degree graduates. To our graduates, please stand when I call your name and remain standing until I kindly ask you to be seated. In addition to their MD, the following 8 graduates earned a Master's of Health Science at the Yale School of Medicine. Dr. Brian Beitler. Dr. Annika Belzer. Dr. Nael Dolicho. Dr. Callie Gnap. Dr. Catherine Hill. Dr. Govind Krishna Kumar Nair. Dr. Elizabeth Lee. And Dr. Kayuri Satam. You may be seated. In addition to their MD, the following 7 graduates earned a Master's of Business Administration, starting with the 5 graduates who earned their MBA from Yale School of Management: Dr. Ali El Ray Shuni, Dr. Emily Goodbranson, Dr. Folawiyo Laditi, Dr. Akil Upneja, and Dr. Anna Zhao. You may be seated. And the following 2 graduates earned their MBA from Harvard Business School: Dr. Julian Huang and Dr. Lena Vadlamani. You may be seated. In addition to their MD, the following 2 graduates earned a Master's of Public Health: Dr. Anna Preston. She earned her MPH from Yale School of Public Health, and Dr. Harry Newman Plotnick. He earned his MPH from Johns Hopkins University. You may be seated. In addition to their MD, the following graduates earned a certificate in global medicine at the Yale School of Medicine: Dr. Michael Amick, Dr. Michael Flores, and Dr. Kelsey Rankin. You may be seated. This ends our presentation of degrees. Congratulations to the class of 2023.
A couple of observations. First of all, Terry Tolson is awesome. It was really wonderful to hear the prefix doctor. I would say some of our MD PhD students have been producing things other than theses. And lastly, I want to point out that a day like today doesn't happen without the work of a lot of people behind the scenes, and so just mention that as we go forward. At this time, I'd like to invite Dean John Francis, who will comment on the Hippocratic Oath and then administer the oath with the class of 2023.
Let's ask the class to give a little bit round of hand to their loved ones, friends, and faculty that have helped them to get to this point so far. Give them a hand. So we have 2 traditions regarding the oath at Yale. One is that the graduating class adopts former oaths from within and also outside of the school to create their own. Another tradition that was begun several years ago, when students realized that no single oath could meet the needs of every graduate, was to actually follow the recitation of the oath that the class has written with a moment of silence. So we will do that again here today. At this time, we will call on the class to rise and pledge the class of 2023 oath of the Yale physician. So repeat with me. In the tradition of our predecessors, witnessed by our families, friends, and colleagues, whose sacrifices have enabled us to pursue this profession, we make these pledges. I pledge myself to the benefit of the sick and vulnerable, to do no harm, as all humans are deserving of our highest degree of care. I will regard those I care for as people first and patients second, honoring the whole person as I care for part of them. I vow to recognize the contributions of those physicians in whose steps I walk, and to create and share new knowledge with those who follow in mine. I vow to respect the scientific process, recognizing that the practice of medicine is an art guided by evidence and that the scientific understanding of disease is incomplete. I will undertake this sacred profession with an open mind, learning when I err. I will not be ashamed to recognize my limitations, and I will lean on my colleagues when needed. I will strive to earn the trust of my patients. I will listen first and counsel second. I will tread with care in matters of life and death, recognizing that I will need to make difficult decisions. This awesome responsibility must be faced with humility and awareness of my own frailty. I vow to respect all my patients, including those with beliefs and identities that differ from my own. I vow to acknowledge my biases and to remain mindful of disparities in our healthcare system. I will actively challenge institutions, beliefs, and ideologies that threaten human rights, ethically seeking to further the interests of my patients. I will not forget that complete knowledge of a thing can only be obtained by elucidating its causes and antecedents. I recognize that health extends beyond the absence of disease and is shaped by structures of power, inequality, and discrimination. I promise to prevent disease wherever I can, for prevention is preferable to cure. I vow to remember that warmth and empathy can outweigh the prescriber's pen or the surgeon's scalpel. I vow to advocate for my patients, centering and amplifying their voices in my provision of care. I will be mindful that I cannot fully tend to the well-being of my patients without tending to my own well-being and that of my peers. I vow to always remember that the practice of this profession is a privilege and an honor. With this oath, we bind ourselves together as stewards of healing, vanguards of justice, and torchbearers of reason, on this day and for all days to come. And now, a moment of silence. You may be seated.
This now brings us to the end of our celebration. I'd like to once again thank Dr. Fauci for honoring us with your wisdom, and again thank all of those who made this ceremony possible. On behalf of Yale University and the School of Medicine, I congratulate our newest physicians and alumni of the Yale School of Medicine. I wish you the very best in your career and know that we will be watching and walking with you as you move forward. I also invite all of you now to the Harkness Lawn for food.